A very good morning to all my dear students. I welcome you all to the online classes of the session 2020-2021. I am your physics teacher and my name is Arshia Das. I will be teaching you the chapter Wind, Storms and Cyclones. This is your chapter 8. You have it in your book, Wind, Storms and Cyclones, and I will be teaching you this chapter. Okay, so before I start, I hope all of you are fine, staying safe at home. At the same time, you all are studying also. So today, let me start with this chapter, Wind, Storms and Cyclones. So I hope all of you are going to enjoy this chapter and listen to the explanations nicely. Okay, children? So let us begin. What do we understand when we, just see the name of the chapter, Wind, Storms and Cyclones? What comes to our mind when we see the name of the chapter? This thing comes to our mind. Yes or no? Air. All these phenomena, wind, storms, cyclones, all are due to what? Air. Okay? And we know our planet Earth is surrounded by a blanket of air known as it is atmosphere. All of you know that it is atmosphere. The blanket of air surrounding the Earth is known as atmosphere. So air is present all around us. Right now also there is lot of air present all around us. And we have the concept that air is made up of molecules. Small particles are present in air and these molecules are free to move about. They can move about anywhere they feel like. These molecules are free to move about. Okay? So what happens is, this atmosphere, there is lot of air present in the atmosphere. And the weight of the air is constantly applying some pressure on all the objects present on the surface of the earth. So the weight of the air is constantly applying, acting downwards. Okay, constantly applying a pressure on all objects present on the surface of the earth. Okay, and this pressure is known as atmospheric pressure. Okay. So atmospheric pressure is exerted or acting on every object present on the surface of the earth. Let us come to the topic known as air exerts pressure. The topic, air exerts pressure. Okay. So when we study about this particular topic, let me give you some examples based on our day-to-day life. Every day we come across all these things. A very simple example, blowing of air inside a balloon. You have a balloon, you constantly blow air inside the balloon. When you blow air inside the balloon, what do you notice? The balloon gets inflated. Okay, so the balloon becomes like this. It becomes inflated. Why? Why does it become inflated? When you are putting air inside the balloon, you are actually putting lots of molecules are present in air, as I told you. So there are lots of air particles, air molecules present inside the balloon. And the more you are putting air inside the balloon means you are actually putting more air, more molecules of air inside the balloon. And these molecules are free to move about. When you are putting lots of molecules, these are constantly moving. These molecules are constantly moving and these molecules, they constantly apply or they collide with the walls of the balloon. When you are putting more air, means you are putting more molecules and the molecules themselves are also colliding with each other constantly. So when something moves, it possesses kinetic energy, remember. When something moves, it possesses kinetic energy, and because of this energy, it keeps on colliding with each other as well as with the walls of the balloon. As a result, it applies pressure on the walls of the balloon, and the walls of the balloon gets inflated, becomes tight, isn't it? This is one example. The inflation of the balloon when you blow air inside it. Another example is bicycle tire, bicycle tube. You have to pump air inside the tube in order to move it smoothly. So when you are pumping air inside the bicycle tube, what happens? Again the same thing. Air molecules are constantly applying pressure on the walls of the bicycle tube and it gets inflated. Okay. A time can come that if you are constantly applying too much of, you're pumping too much of air inside the tire can even burst. The tube of the bicycle tire can burst because there will be too much of pressure inside the tube, and because of too much of pressure, the walls can burst out. Got it? So this is another example based on air exerts pressure. Alright, with the help of an activity, I will show you how much of atmospheric pressure is exerted on a particular object. Okay, so let us move on with the activity to show that air exerts lots of pressure. Supposing you take a tin can and you keep the lid of the tin can opened. You keep this tin can open. Okay, and you have water inside the tin can. You heat this water, you heat the can. From below you are heating the can, so the water inside the tin can starts getting heated up, and let a time come when this water starts boiling. When this water will start boiling, there will be lot of steam inside the tin can, remember. There will be lot of steam inside the tin can, and whatever air was present inside the tin can will actually escape out. Why? Because when you heat air, warm air becomes lighter. Being lighter, it will rise up and it will get a space to go out. So air will move out through the tin can. But inside there is lot of steam present. Okay. So initially you will find there will be no change in the structure of the tin can. There is no change in the structure of the tin can because inside the can there is steam pressure, and outside the can there is atmospheric pressure, and both of them are balancing each other. As a result, there will be no change in the structure of the tin can. Inside there is steam pressure, outside there is atmospheric pressure. Now what you do is, once there is lot of steam inside, the same tin can, you place the lid. You cover the tin can with the lid. Okay? And you pour cold water on top of this can. When you pour cold water on top of the can, the steam that is present inside the can condenses. So when the steam condenses, the pressure inside the can automatically reduces. So when the pressure inside becomes low, outside there is obviously atmospheric pressure outside. So this atmospheric pressure will change. It will deform the structure of this tin can, something like this. The tin can will be pushed inwards. So you can imagine how much of air pressure is outside that it changes the structure of the tin can. It is all because of the pressure difference. Is it clear? So it is because of the pressure difference that the structure of the tin can changes. So this is a very simple activity which is given in your book to show that air exerts pressure. Alright, so this is the activity. You take a tin can, you can try it out. You have water inside the can, you bring the water to a state of boil. Okay, you boil it and there will be lot of steam present inside the tin can. Initially, when the lid is open, there will be no change in the structure of the tin can. Okay. Now, what you do is you place the lid, you cover the top of the tin can with the lid, and once you place the lid, you pour cold water on top of the tin can. When you pour cold water, the steam inside the can condenses and the pressure inside the can reduces. And the outside, the atmospheric pressure is so high that it will crush the can inwards, and there is a change in the structure of the can. This activity shows that air exerts pressure. So you can imagine the amount of air pressure is so large outside that it can even crush a tin can. Okay. Let us move on with some other examples based on air pressure. So when I have already discussed about when I'm talking about air pressure, so let me tell you about wind. Wind is also because of air pressure. Wind means moving air. When air moves, it creates wind. We say it is wind. So how do you understand that air is moving? You must have noticed that the leaves of the trees, they sway, the flags, they flutter, isn't it? Then you must have seen your clothes also swaying when there is wind. So why? What creates this wind? If air is already present all around us, then how come this air is moving? Air moves from a region of high pressure to a region of low pressure, remember. Air moves from a region of high pressure to a region of low pressure always. So when it moves, it creates wind, and we can feel the wind. Okay, we can feel the wind, we can see things swaying and fluttering. Okay, so as we have seen that the air pressure is too high. So I am giving you one example. I don't know how many of you have noticed this, that the hoardings which are placed, on somewhere at top of buildings and all for advertisement purpose, they have holes. Okay, it's like this. The hoardings, they have holes placed on them. Why do they have these holes? So that when wind will move, it can easily pass through these holes. Otherwise, this hoarding can get damaged, or it can be blown away by the wind, or even it can get teared. That is why, in order to withstand the air pressure, holes are made so that air can easily pass through them. Got it? So this is one example to show that air exerts pressure. Let us move on to some other examples based on our day-to-day life. I am sure all of you, you ride bicycle, or even most of you ride bicycle rather, and you must have noticed that it is easier for you to pedal the bicycle in the direction of the wind. In whichever direction the wind is moving, it is easier for you to also pedal the bicycle in the direction of the wind. It becomes very difficult for you to pedal the bicycle in the opposite direction of the wind, because air is also exerting pressure. So it becomes easier for you to move in the direction of the air pressure. If you are trying to move in the opposite direction, this air is trying to constantly oppose your motion. It is trying to stop your motion. As a result, you have to apply more pressure, more force in order to move your bicycle. So that becomes difficult, isn't it? So we have noticed from our common day-to-day life experience that it is easier for us to ride a bicycle in the direction of the wind. Another example, it is easier to row a boat in the direction of the wind also. It is easier to row a boat in the direction of the wind. Whichever direction the wind is moving, in that direction if you row your boat, you will be easily carried away in that direction. Otherwise, again, air will try to obstruct your motion. It will try to stop your motion. As a result, it becomes difficult to row a boat against the direction of the wind. Okay? A very common example, I am sure most of you are doing this. Okay? That is flying a kite. When you are flying a kite, it is easier to fly the kite in the direction of the wind, isn't it? Again, the reason is same, that air exerts pressure, so it becomes very easy when there is lot of wind around you. It is easier for you to fly the kite. So these are some very common examples, day-to-day life examples based on the topic air exerts pressure. Got it? So I want all of you to read this chapter, go through it thoroughly till the topic air exerts pressure. Practice the activity diagram that is given. Please practice that. Read the chapter thoroughly, and if you have any doubts, you can just mail it to me, and please solve the worksheet and send it to me today itself. Okay? Don't be very late in sending your worksheets. Got it? Please submit it on time and send it to your respective teachers. Alright? So till then, I leave this class till here, till this topic. I want all of you to go through this topic, read it, and see you all in the next class. Thank you and have a good day.